Do you have a favorite hymn or a worship song? You know, one that you're just hoping that we sing when you get to church? Or maybe it's one that you crank up really loudly in the car and you sing while you're driving. You know, the songs that we sing, whether they are the old traditional hymns of your childhood or the new modern worship songs that you hear on the radio, they all have a story to tell. They preach the gospel message sometimes better than we do as pastors. This Lent, we are walking through a series called Altered. It's about the transforming power of surrender and how the Lord can alter us when we make our life an altar. Look, I know that surrender isn't usually one of our favorite things to do, right? Because it means giving over our control and our desires. But there are many beautiful songs that remind us of the freedom and the power and the transformation that comes through that act of surrender. I bet you know the classic hymn called I Surrender All, right? The backstory of the song comes from the writer's own life. Judson Van Deventer, he loved art. He wanted to be a famous artist. But at the same time, his faith was growing. And at one point, his friends suggested that he become an evangelist. That brought him to a crossroads in his life. For 5 years, he struggled with which way he should go, until one day he came to a moment when he surrendered his whole life to the Lord and the direction of his life. He wrote the hymn as a testimony to the joy that he felt when he turned his career and his gifts over to God. And in that surrender, the Lord birthed a new depth of talent in writing music. Billy Graham even tells a story about how this man came to his Bible class and would encourage the students, influence them. And you might also know that this song, I Surrender All, was used in Billy Graham's crusades as he went around the world preaching the good news of Jesus. This is what Billy Graham said about surrender. We begin to surrender to God when we first accept Jesus Christ as Savior and Lord. It is a mistake to think that we can receive Christ's offer of forgiveness and then go out to live our lives as we please. From that moment of commitment, God has a claim on us, and we must expect Him to tell us how we should live. We should never fear to give God complete control over our lives. He loves us more than we love ourselves, and He will only plan what is best for us. It isn't always true, as it was with Reverend Van Deventer, that God takes us down a different path from the one which we would naturally follow. But if He does, we may be sure that it will be a happier and more fruitful life than one that we could have planned for ourselves. So I just wonder, is there anything that you've been holding back from the Lord? Something that you're not sure you want to hand over to Him and trust the Lord with? Maybe these words should be our prayer today. All to Jesus I surrender. All to Him I freely give. I will ever love and trust Him. In His presence daily live.